Likkutei Torah, Parshas Balak, page 140, middle of the second column. Okay, the last thing that the Rebbe was explaining was that Avodas HaTfilah is the spine. In other words, the spine is not counted as one of the Ramachivon. Therefore, according to those opinions, the davening is only rabbinic, not biblical, even though the davening is so important. So he explains it's similar to the mashal, the 18 brachas of Shemoneh Esrei correspond with the 18 vertebrae, but that's counted as a limb. But the actual spine is not counted as a limb, and therefore, but nevertheless, it holds up the whole thing. And he says that's the last thing we're learning. What Chazal say, tefillah needs kavana. What's the kavana that we're bringing down the lukus and connecting ourselves to Hashem, like the spine connects the top and the bottom. Well, the inyan is as follows. Second column, middle of the page. Well, inyan she'ikar mechuvim b'tefillah. What is the primary purpose of davening? Shemavakshim she'ya'er entzal baruch hu shelamayla me'eshtaushus. That it should be revealed a level of godliness higher than ishtaushus, higher than the world's. But it's baruch shenim shechlamata b'chinas ishtaushus. What are we asking during davening? We're asking that the infinite revelation of Hashem should come down into the finite world. That's basically what it's all about. What are we asking? That the revelation of Yudkei Vavkei, which means higher than world, past, present, future, simultaneously, and all that, it should come from the level of Atah. Because Atah is even higher than Yudkei Vavkei. Havaya made al ishtaushus hamadreges in a certain extent. Compared to the name of Elokim, Yudkei Vavkei is higher. But the reality is, Yudkei Vavkei is Chachma, Bina, the 6 feet is Malchus. Like it says, Yud is Simtzum, Hey is Pashit, Vav Amshach, and so on. Therefore, B'chinas Ha'or, Ad Nimshach B'ishtaushus, Madreges Elu, the level of Elokus that comes from Yudkei Vavkei is Ha'or, Mitzum Semis Levad, is a very limited revelation. The Gabi Erin Tov Shelamaylim Ishtaushus. Compared to the level of Elokus, which is higher than world Atah, so even Havaya is already Olam, a limitation. These are all the requests of what we daven in Shemoneh Esrei, meaning we say that the Shtaltus should come down at Baruch. It should become revealed from the level of Atah, all the way down into Havaya Elokeinu, Hainu B'chinas Shem Havaya. And therefore what happens, skip the brackets, by bringing down that level of Elokus, higher than world, so basically, even if you don't deserve it, you're asking for healing and parnasa and all that stuff. What's the keli of godliness coming down here when he heals the sick and he gives parnasa and he does all these physical things? Right? He gives life and he gives bracha for sick people. And like it says, the what is the union of tefillah? The Alter Rebbe says in the Gersa Kodesh, davening is the level of Elokus coming down, not only in a way of dressing itself in a limited form. It's not only Elokus coming down in the limited form of world. We're bringing down a level of Elokus that changes things. Meaning, you're sick, you get unsick. You don't have parnasa, you get parnasa. So what happens is, it's being mamshech, a level of Elokus, higher than world, into world, but not on the level that it's limited in world. If you're sick, you're sick. But that if you're sick, you're unsick.
So it's reaching the level of Atah?
Yeah, and we're saying, Baruch Atah, because then Atah can make sick and healthy, because sick and healthy is the same thing.
Rabbi,
experiencing the suffering of not
I have to
having.
be honest with you, for a change, that's a good question. The question is, why does Hashem make people sick and then heals them? Why does Hashem make people poor and then He gives them parnasa? Why doesn't Hashem just keep everybody healthy and keep everybody financially secure? And why does He do it that way? The answer is, the same question is taken in the broader form. Avram didn't have children for a while, Yitzchak didn't have children for a while, Rachel didn't have children for a while. So the Medrash says, why did Hashem make such great holy people? Why did He make them barren? It sounds cruel, but it's not. It says, Hashem loves when tzaddikim daven. I.e., Hashem loves when people daven. So therefore, if you're not sick, why are you going to daven? Well, I know, one second. V'amech kulam tzaddikim, everybody's a tzaddik. So it says, Hashem, I'll explain to you in a simpler language that means, because it's funny, because Hashem likes tzaddikim to pray, so He makes them suffer. I mean, come on, that's not exactly very nice. You know? But it's similar to the concept of hide and go seek. The person, you hide, and then you're supposed to find.
Hide and seek.
Officially, it's hide and go seek. Go seek. Go seek. Yeah, so why does He hide? Them not hide. Because there's a game of concealment and then finding it. Not having something and then getting it is much more appreciated than having it the whole time. So therefore, what does Hashem want? Hashem wants us to realize that Hashem is the source of all things. So He wants us to daven to Him. If Hashem would make that there are no necessities in life, a person wouldn't connect to Hashem. And when a person connects to Hashem, it's beneficial for the person. The person becomes on a much higher level than if you wouldn't connect to Hashem. That's what Hashem does it.
I think the biggest challenge is when you're gaining what you saw and you still continue to pray to Hashem.
Correct.
It's a great challenge.
The Gemara says, one of the rabbis of the Gemara, when he was about to sit down to eat a meal. He's about to sit down to eat a meal, and the bread was on the table. He davened to Hashem to give him food for the meal. He had the food right in front of him. He's ready to eat. Why is he davening to Hashem to give him the food for the meal? The answer is he wanted to have an awareness that even what I have, Hashem brought it to me.
I have to admit that it's not very sincere and not...
We're not talking about...
At that stage, when you have it and you still pray...
You just said the same statement. Isn't it a greater level that when you have it and you have appreciation? Yeah. So you just said it yourself. Right. So why are you arguing what I'm saying?
No, I'm saying it's a paradox.
Oh, now you're ruining it. It was a good question, don't ruin it. Okay. This is the request of Shemona Esrei. She come down this brach and amshach. An infinitely greater revelation, all the way from the level of Ata. And it comes to Shem Havaya, then it becomes Reifei Cherli Am Yisrael Mevarach Hashanim Al Derech Moshul. That's the Keli that Elokus is revealed. No, I went backwards. 1 second. Okay, so that's the union of tefillah. We're going where Mashenka Torah mitzvahs. The Alter Rebbe is explaining what is davening. Davening is the spine. Davening is the level of bringing Elokus down from the highest levels all the way down into levels of world. That's davening. Masha'enkim v'Torah mitzvahs. When you do Torah mitzvahs, ain't shini b'klafet tefillin. When you put on tefillin, the cloth, the parchment of the tefillin doesn't change. It is what it is already. Davening changes things. Davening changes things. Mitzvahs don't change the object. The object is what it is. In other words, the Chassidus explains there's bracha and tefillah. Yeah, there's bracha and there's tefillah. You have a need. So there's two ways people deal with it. Either they daven, or they go to a tzaddik for a bracha. So we learned already many times, what's the difference between a bracha and davening? Bracha means, like we learned, to bring down. That means a person's asking a bracha, let's say, for children. Okay? So it means as follows. Up there is the concept of children. But it's not brought down. It's not coming down into the world for whatever reason. There's a blockage, whatever, we're not great enough to pull it down, so to speak. So what is a bracha? You go to a tzaddik on a lofty level, and the Rabbi said every Jew is on a lofty level, every Jew can give a bracha. But what do you do to the tzaddik? You get a bracha. A bracha means the tzaddik, because of his great, can push it down. It's easier to push down than to pull down. Okay? So bracha means it's there, but it can't come down. So the tzaddik brings it down. Tefillah, but if it's not there, as the expression goes, if it's not in the stars, the tzaddik and the bracha can't bring it down. Because it's not there to bring down. If it's there, you can't bring it down, the tzaddik can bring it down. But if it's not there, what are you going to do about it? And that's what tefillah is. Tefillah we say, Yehi Ratzeh, may it become the will. Yehi Ratzeh, may it become the will. That's tefillah. And by the way, every Jew does davening. Bracha is officially, you have to be a holy Jew to bring that. But to create something which is remarkable, tefillah every Jew can do. And what does it mean? He creates something that wasn't there. And what?
There are some exceptions, high levels that fall down that makes this very confusing. How could Balak be the grandfather of Mashiach? How could Mashiach come from incest? There are
So we said, because certain things are too great to come down through normal channels. The fact that klipa, especially shoulder clips at Timaeus, complete evil, is very low down here.
Yes.
In the source, it's super high. The lower the thing, the higher it is. So therefore, that is klipa, which is of ultimate high greatness. That's why it fell down here lower. So normally a normal situation, you can't reveal that level of kedusha that shows Chitzat Timaeus. That's why it's forbidden, because it's bound to evil, and you can't elevate it. But certain not normal things that Hashem sets up the situation.
Right.
Hashem sets it up in a way that the super great level could come down into kedusha.
So there are people who don't daven, don't go to a tzaddik for a bracha, and they live happily ever after.
First of all, how do you know?
No, it's not after.
First of all,
Even in this book.
any person that deals with people knows outwardly they might be showing very happy in wealth and they're miserable inside.
Yeah, look at me.
That's for sure.
Outwardly.
You know what? Don't look at him. You may get distracted. And down deep they're miserable. Okay? Secondly, do we understand Hashem's cheshbon?
No.
Every person does good, every person does bad. Right? Okay. Now, Hashem rewards and punishes everybody for the good and bad they do. Some in this temporary world, some in the world to come. There's some people that are anti whatever, godliness, and yet seemingly they're living a very great life. So number one, you don't know if they are or not. Okay? Many of these people are suicidal. But even not, maybe they're getting rewarded in this world, which is temporary, rather than the world to come. You don't know that.
Balak wanted to curse the Israel, and Mashiach comes from him.
So what happened from his curses?
Bracha.
Ultimate brachas, tam brachas, ultimate brachas. These are unbelievable brachas. What are you talking about? How can unbelievable brachas come from Bilam?
Rabbi, why God would give the faith of Jewish people in the mouths of such shaky, unstable people?
Because,
I mean, doesn't he have a grander plans?
by the way, why is Bilam unshaky? Why is Balak unshaky? Bilam was a greater prophet than Moshe Rabbeinu.
But he was vacillating. He was like not a stable, reliable.
Why wasn't he reliable?
Because he was one moment he would say, "Okay, I'll do it."
No, yeah, he said, I'm going to do, but whatever Hashem tells me to say, I'm going to say it. That's what he did. He did exactly what Hashem told him to do. Because over there he didn't have free choice. We discussed it by the class one, didn't we?
Independent.
He's not. Why?
He was a moody person.
What? Where do you see moody? But he had strong tivus. He had basic kesef hizov. It says in Pirkei Avos. We just read it this past. Bilam had this broad desires and everything. Even transgressed briesti. He had relation with his donkey. The Gemara says. No, that doesn't make him unstable.
Unpredictable, for sure.
Why is that unpredictable? Okay, anyway. So for you he's unpredictable. For me he's not. So he says like this. What does tefillah do? Tefillah changes things. You say, Reifei Cholim, Baruch Shanim, that makes the sick healed. It makes the poor have parnasa. So that's bringing down elokus in a way that it changes the world. But he's saying Torah mitzvahs don't change the world. The tefillin are the tefillin. You're not changing the object that you're dealing with. He says, Mashengein Torah mitzvah shenshini b'klafa tefillin. Nimsa shakol b'akosha shmona esrei. What is all the brachas of shmona esrei? Are you making kelim l'gili elokusi is baruch mamish l'matach? What are we doing through davening? Making that the person who's sick now becomes a keli for health. Person who's poor becomes a keli for parnasa. Veit kidum like it says in the Zohar. The last brachas is sharia ba'asar kana. A bracha cannot rest on an empty place. Meaning, a bracha can only rest on a place where you make a keli. Like if you want a bracha of rain for the farmer, that's the classic example Chassidus gives. For a farmer, rain is a big bracha. But if you don't plant the field, you don't make a keli, rain is not going to do anything. You know, you get a bracha to win the lottery ticket, you don't buy a ticket, you're not going to win no matter what. Because a bracha needs a keli. Or somebody, you know, they tell a story, two people, I don't know if it's true or not, but this is the story they tell. Two people didn't have children, they came to the Rebbe. The Rebbe gave them brachas, each one to have a child. So one did and one didn't. So they're wondering why one did and one didn't. So you say what happened was, the person who got the bracha right away went out and bought a carriage. And the other one didn't. In other words, this one made a keli. He was certain it was going to... Or the story of the Baal Shem Tov. Baal Shem Tov was once, it was Yom Tov or Shabbos. Anyway, and they're bringing from Shabbos into after Shabbos. All of a sudden, they ran out of mashke. And the Baal Shem Tov said, everybody put your hands in the pocket and take out coins. We need to buy mashke. Don't forget, they started for being on Shabbos. These are tzaddikim, not people that take out their cell phones. You know what I mean? These are tzaddikim. So he says that the Talmidim and Baal Shem Tov put their hands in the pockets, they took out coins, and they bought mashke. So Chassidim say there was two issues over here. Number one, that the Baal Shem Tov put money in their pockets. The miraculously, because Shabbos, they had no money in their pocket. But there was a bigger miracle. That Chassidim put their hands in the pocket, the Talmidim put their hands in the pocket, didn't question the Baal Shem Tov. He said, they should, I have no money. I mean, what do you mean? If I tell you on Saturday, right, give me $1, you're going to say to me, what are you crazy? I don't have money in my pocket. The Talmidim, Baal Shem Tov said, put your hand in your pocket to take out money. They did it. That's a bigger miracle. Or like the students that once came to the Rebbe and asked him, we heard you do miracles. Can you show us a miracle? Can you do a miracle for us? So the Rebbe said to them, the biggest miracle that a person could do is change their personality. The Rebbe said to them, if you walk out of here a different person than you walked in, I just did a miracle. It's a very deep, that's very deep, by the way. You ask me to do a miracle? If you walk out of here different than you were before, I did a miracle.
See, like the Rebbe is asking for the bitachon as a partner.
But the miracle was that the Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov just put that in the pocket. Okay, so he says, which means what the Zohar says, there's no bracha in an empty place, meaning in order to have hamshachas ha'or, there is no elam ken yesh kelim sheyish bo'em. There has to be a keli to make the bracha. Or like we say in Sim Sholim, we say, Barcheinu avinu kolonu ke'echad ba'or pernecha. Simply means Hashem blesses together with the glory of your face. The Alter Rebbe in Tanya says, Barcheinu avinu, when can Hashem bless us? When kulonu ke'echad, when we're one. Not bless all of us as one. The Alter Rebbe is saying, Barcheinu avinu, what is the keli? What is the keli for the bracha when kulonu ke'echad? Or the last mission of the entire Mishnah says, Le'matza keli HaKadosh Baruch Hu kli hamachzik bracha ela hasholim. That's the last mission of the whole entire Mishnah. That Hashem didn't find a keli for a bracha, only shalom. There has to be a keli. There's no keli, you not going to get it. I told you, rain is a bracha. You don't plant the field, you're not going to you're not going to grow things. And all the brachos of Shemoneh Esrei is kelim, those are the vessels. When we daven those blessings, are the vessels that the Hashem's revelation should be revealed. What is the main thing is Baruch Ato Hashem, to bring down the level of Ato into Yud Kei Vav Kei, into Elokeinu, our nature, our powers, our nature, through that Melech HaElam, Shem Shachas Erin Sof. And he says, look into Kunezer Tikkun Vav, Zer Shomer Azal, Chai Berachas Ditzloisa, the 18 Berachas of Shemoneh Esrei, the Gemara says, in Keneged Chai Choyeshe B'Shedra, corresponding with the 18 vertebrae of the spine, Ratzolei Meshem Kelim Am Shachas V'Gili Erin Sof, Hanim Shechalak Dei Tefillah. What does it mean? Just like the 18 vertebrae. What are the vertebrae? Cholias and Kelim L'chut HaShedra. The vertebrae are the vessels of the Shedra that the power of the mind. Right, what's the spine? It all comes from the mind and goes down the spine to direct traffic throughout the body. It's called in Kabbalah the bringing down of the Meichin like Chut HaShedra. Comes the Meir Chapich is Am Shachas Adas. Okay? His Galus Elukus Lebarik Lamata Kamei Lamayla. There should come down Elukus just like it is up there, it comes down here. So Tefillah needs a Keli. But then the Keli changes. Because you're bringing down a level of Elukus, which is higher than world. So it doesn't matter that you're sick. Now you can become healthy. Because you're only sick in the realm of illness. Or it's like the way Torah believes a doctor doesn't heal you. The doctor is Hashem's messenger. In other words, Hashem's healing goes through the doctor. Why is a doctor a keli and a lay person not? Because the doctor studied medicine, so therefore he became a keli for Hashem's ability to heal the person. If the doctor thinks, I'm the healer, then as the Gemara says, the best of doctors go to Gehenna. Even though the Gemara says a person who saves one life is like he saved the whole world. So they're very great doctors. But the answer is, what is their attitude? If their attitude is, I did it, it's me, so then they go to Gehenna because, but if they know that it's Hashem is the healer, he's only the agent and the vehicle and the tool, so then, then he's a keli for Elokus.
Maybe the doctors, Hashem puts in their mind.
Yeah, but they don't, sometimes they don't realize that. That's how there's we learned 20 times, there's a word. What do you mean, Tev Sheberei from the Gehenna? The best of doctors go to hell. What does it mean? So he explained like this. Tev equals 17. A doctor only believes in 17 Barachas Shemon Esrei. He doesn't believe that Reif Echeli Ami Yisrael, that he goes to Gehenna. So now the doctor that doesn't believe that Hashem is the healer, he's just the vehicle, the keli.
Many times when people go to specialists for this and this specialist for a certain issue, and then one day an intern in residency says, do this, and that's going to heal the whole problem.
Because he happened to be the keli. Sometimes a specialist doesn't help heal you, and then a little new doctor, resident, will tell you, do this, and heals you. He's the keli, and he's not. But again, like we said many times, the Rabbi said, if there's a choice of two doctors, a good doctor is not religious, and not such a good doctor is religious, who do you go to? You go to the better doctor.
But again, they say it's not the knowledge of the doctor, it's the level of dedication and care that really makes him as focused.
That definitely helps, and therefore the Rabbi used to send always to Reifa Yedid, a doctor that's a friend of yours, so he really cares about you.